Well, hello. Today I'm going to taste some very old agricole rums from Clément. Um, Clément is, so it's a very prominent brand of Martinician agricole rum. I honestly don't, I haven't reviewed a lot of Clément. I don't think about them a whole lot. I don't dislike them. I've tried a bunch of their stuff, including their agricole rum, and I kind of think they're fine, but they're rarely going to be my first choice. It's kind of like Baker's bourbon. Baker's is nice, right? You wouldn't turn on a glass of Baker's. Would it be your first choice to buy? Probably. That's kind of where I am with Clément. I like them, but it's just not one that comes to mind very often. All right. So what I've got here is some older versions that I'm hoping are not going to be too oaky, but we shall see. First up is a 1976 Clément Trés Vieux. This was apparently bottled almost 2 decades ago, so 20 odd years on it. Bottled at 44%. And I've got two 16-year-olds, both from 2002. And that's the lineup. So let's start on with this 1976. Let's see what we got. Do I still have my... There we go. Just checking to make sure that I still have my stuff set up for reviewing. So it's a relatively closed nose. I don't know the exact wood makeup of this, but it smells like some kind of mixture of French oak and American oak. I'm getting a lot of the black peppery notes, and almost like a sour prune thing that I would associate more with French oak or European oak more broadly. But then there's also a fair bit of vanilla and sawdust happening that I would associate more with American oak. So I'm guessing this is a couple of different casks of different sorts. Beyond those notes, it's hard to pick up on anything that feels like a very restrained nose. I kind of popped these guys about a half an hour ago just to get a little bit of air in the bottle. And I'm really wondering now with this one if I should have just given it longer, because the nose is not speaking up very much. Yeah, there's some like overstewed tea, black tea notes. A little bit of leafiness, a little bit of like a burned Brussels sprout thing. So if you like saute Brussels sprouts for like 5 minutes longer than you really should. But yeah, mostly it's kind of slightly, dried fruit, slightly sour brown dried fruit, pepper, sawdust, vanilla. A little bit of ginger as well. Okay, maybe a little bit of fennel if I start looking. But certainly a lot of wood, and that's most of what I'm getting. On the palate, one more time. Yeah, okay. Again, I'm mostly getting wood on this. It's a blend of at least from what it presents as, it feels like a blend of French and American oak. So lots of pepper, black pepper, sawdust, figs, prunes, but like almost burned figs and burned prunes. Um, some vanilla. Uh, Certainly some nice tannins, but it's very short in the way it behaves in the mouth. And I don't think it's the strength doing that. It just feels like there's just not much there in the underlying distillate. Clément, of course, distilled at the Simon distillery, kind of in the southeast of Martinique, along with Habitation Saint Etienne. Same facility, different set of stills. But yeah, it arrives nicely. It's very woody on the arrival, but it's quite nice. And then it just kind of falls off a cliff a little bit. Like the mouth length is quite short. It kind of stops right at my molars. Finish is very clipped. It fades very quickly. Let me give this one more shot on the palate. It's just like, I am enjoying the arrival of this. It's like, ooh, all that wood. Let's see where this is going to go. And then it's just gone. And that's kind of lame. I'm going to add some water to this and we'll see where it's going. There's a fair bit of fennel and salted licorice happening on the palate too. A little bit of dried cherry. But yeah, just not... Yeah, it's... I'm enjoying it, but it's a hair bit underwhelming. Let's move on. We're going to the first of my 2002s. This is a 16-year-old Clément. And this is a rare cask. There's both of these are rare casks, and this one is subtitled the Coup de Foudre. Now this is foudre is a particularly French term. It's you're talking about basically a whole range of large casks. That's what a foudre is. You will see these in winemaking. You will see these in spirits a lot of the time. Those sort of big casks where they store Armagnac. So I'm guessing from the name, because I don't have a lot of information on this spent a lot of time in basically a large cask. So which means probably there's going to be less oak influence, more coming from the spirit. Let's see. Ooh. And right away, the nose is a little bit more aggressive. Lots of cinnamon stick, nutmeg, some cardamom pods, figs, a lot of French oak. I had a hard time finding the cask types on this, but this just smells like European oak. Like, I would be shocked if there was any American oak going into this. It screams like Quercus robur to me. Yeah, like just overstewed Irish breakfast tea. Dried pineapple of all things. Lots of dried fruit actually now. Black pepper, prunes. But you give it a moment, and yeah, the distillate is there. There's a little bit of brininess, salted licorice. Um, Almost a leafy, medicinal, minty thing. A little bit of Ricola happening. Okay, I can get down with this. Let's see what happens on the palate. There we go. There we go. So whereas the 1976 that I just tried kind of just like arrives very well, but then just sort of dies off before developing into anything, this has a much more serious story to tell. It arrives well, yes, but then it kind of develops and pushes back further in my mouth and holds there. And that's what I want spirits at this level to be doing. Very dominated by French oak notes. Like, I'm guessing all three of these are going to be big, 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 serious oak bombs. So what I've got? Cinnamon sticks. Ooh. Irish breakfast tea again. That Ricola medicinal minty thing. That's definitely in play here. Black pepper, cardamom seeds. There's something else going on. What is that? It's certainly a little bit nutty, like almost a toasted nutshell kind of thing. What is that? I almost want to say pool water or something. This like a almost a chlorine kind of thing, but it's almost much more of a kind of a chemistry lab disinfectant sort of thing, but nice. So yeah, chemical disinfectant on the palate, but nice. Dried cherry, leafiness. It's interesting. I've had, in some ways, this profile reminds me of like some of the like American whiskeys, rye and bourbons I've had that have been finished in some kind of French oak kind of thing, but it just feels much more integrated than that. Like it has. Yeah, let's leave it at that. So I've said before, a few times that aged agricoles can sometimes present bourbony or rye-y. And in some ways this is too, but it's got such an obvious French oak influence that it kind of does both. I don't want to overstate. It's not a super duper complex rum, but it's definitely very well made, and I'm enjoying it. Yeah. All right, moving on. This is also a 2002. This is also a 16-year-old, and it's also a Clément Rare Cask, and this is the Connaisseurs. They threw an A in the spelling there for fun. Again, no idea what the cask makeup on this is, but it is 55.22% alcohol by volume as opposed to the 55.2 of the previous, cask. On the nose, very similar to the previous little sample bottle, but a hair bit more restrained. Lots of cinnamon stick, lots of dried fruit. There's some almost like what is that? Like a nectarine kind of thing pushing through. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I was just talking about is still there. Did Did I add water to this glass? I did not add water to this glass. I'm sorry, I'm disorganized today. 1, 2, 3. It's going to take at least 3, probably 4 or 5. Let's go 4.5. We should leave it there. Sorry, back to the third glass again. Yeah, you could almost copy paste the same notes. The difference is it's a little bit more strained, and there is that just like laser beam of yeah, like orchard fruit, nectarine, really starting to cut through. It's a little bit more dusty as well. There's almost like a yeah, like you went to Martinique and just kicked up a cloud of dust in the air. Yeah, I mean, what in some ways I expected, but still a little bit annoying is, you know, I'm just not picking up a lot of distillate character on this. Like, the Clément spirit is, it takes wood well, but I usually don't find that much to it, and that's kind of being confirmed, you know, nosing and tasting these so far. But, you know, that doesn't mean they're bad. And I think the scores on these last two are going to respect that. On the palate with this this Connaisseurs. Ooh. I'm not aware of anyone coming out with a cherry birch beer, like that particular kind of soda variety. But if you could invent a cherry birch beer, this is pretty much what it would taste like. Lots of like tree bark married with like just sour cherry, dried cherry. Yeah, black pepper. That Ricola thing again. Irish breakfast tea. Weirdly, I'm not getting the nectarine on the palate of this like I was on the nose. Fennel. Okay, there's a little bit of brininess happening, a little bit of like black olive. Okay. This, you know, you really pay attention, you can kind of tell this is an Agricole rum, which is nice. Let me try this one more time. I should say, despite the fact the strength is about the same, this has a little bit less weight on the palate than the previous glass. Not to say there's anything wrong with the arrival of the development or the finish or anything like that. It's just everything has just been pulled back half a notch. I'm not sure I need to complain about that. It's still very, very pleasant. I will say both of these rare cask things are, you know, standing ahead of the 1976 for me right now, which is not really what I was expecting, to be honest. So I'm going to give this a squirt of water. 2, 3, 4. Like a quarter. All right, let's go back through. Back to the 1976. nose. Okay. No, I don't want to poo-poo this too much. It's a very nice dram. There's a little bit of like blueberry poking through now, along with the cherry and everything else. Still a much more restrained nose, much more quiet nose than I would like. But yeah, the little touch of blueberry in there, married to the black tea and that little hint of vanilla, it's charming. It's kind of working. I don't know. This is pretty nice. It's just more like, based on the stats of this, I was expecting a little bit more. A little bit more. Let's see what happens on the palate. Here we go. It still has that same issue where it's like, it arrives and it's like, oh, this is so nice. Like there's some cherry here. There's a little blueberry showing up. Even some like heavy honey, like German forest honey happening on this. Irish breakfast tea, all these nice things, and then it's just gone. Where'd it go? What happened? Yeah, behind my molars, nothing is happening. Like, the moment after I swallow, really, like, I am just left with a slight sense of, like, pepperiness, maybe wood tannin, slight herbaceous Ricola kind of thing, and that's it. It's just gone. Like, one more time. Yeah, it's really difficult to even nail down notes of this because it's just so like vague in the way it behaves. That being said, it's pleasant. It's clearly got some character to it. What am I going to score this? It does improve a little bit. Let's call this an 82 plus. 82 plus out of 100. I'm more mystified than anything else. Like it just feels like something of this character should be speaking to me more, and it's just not. I'm gonna stop. I have to put this glass over here because I'm just gonna be trying to figure that thing out for a couple of more minutes before I move on. Yeah, 82 plus. Let's go back to the Coup de Foudre, 2002. This was the one that was kind of in the lead for me going into the second round. So let's see what happens. Yeah, still lots of dried fruit, cherry, tea, pepper. Just lots of French oak. But it's very pleasant. It's a simple wood-driven kind of nose, but it works. It absolutely works. Development with water, Not really. Sorry. On the palate. Ooh, okay. Finish gets a little bit more kind of bitter, overtly bitter. So a little bit of Campari coming through there, which I'm enjoying. Lots of French oak. That kind of herbaceous Ricola thing in play still. Yeah, is good. Is good. I don't have a lot to complain about, but I also don't have a lot to be excited about here either. It's a very nice French oak. I think French oak driven Agricole rum, and that's kind of all I can say about it. I will give this an 85 out of 100. $85 for the Coup de Foudre. All right, let's move on. Let's see where the Connaisseurs gets us. On the nose. So that nectarine note it's still there, but it's morphed much more into an almost like blood orange kind of note, which is quite pleasant. A little bit more peppery, a little bit more like almost like a. It smells like a South Asian, like a Bangladesh dessert or something. There's a little bit of rose water happening, some nuttiness. Yeah, this is great. The nose, so I spoke about things being turned down a little bit of a notch from the previous glass with this before. With water, this feels like it steps up a little bit more. Let's see if the same thing happens on the palate. Actually, yeah, the same thing kind of happens in the palate. There's some, like cardamom happening, cinnamon sticks definitely. Lots of French oak. But yeah. Just a little bit more acid, like lime peel, orange peel happening from the previous glass. Okay. The Connaisseurs is kind of stepping up a little bit. I don't like it that much more than the previous glass, but yeah, with water it just kind of comes alive that little bit more. Good development, good finish. I'd be happy to have a glass or a bottle of this in my cabinet. Yeah, righteous. 85 plus. 85 plus for the Clément 2002 Rare Cask Connaisseur. And that's what I got. Yeah, this is... I'm trying to think of something clever to add to this. But it's really just kind of indication of that you can make a very, very good spirit with decent distillate and oak, but to make a great distillate, to make a great spirit, you really need like a distillate with some, a lot of character, basically. And I don't know if these really have that, but they're good. I especially these last two I would not turn down by any means. Thanks for watching and cheers.